Does YouTube seem a little more dead lately? A little more dead than usual? Maybe because it's summer. Hell, I should be outside doing something. Maybe I'll go to Ocean Beach. Anybody have any opinion on this? Is Timmy's veiled threats that he will beat my ass or cause me some sort of grief if he sees me in Ocean Beach, do you think it's all just huff and puff or bluster? Or is Timmy just joking around? Or is he truly a dangerous person? Is he a sociopath? As I said, I don't really have any need to go to OB except for the People's Market. But he wrote in some comments somewhere. It's like, it sounded pretty mean. I'll go to Ocean Beach if I want to. It's a na-na-na-na-na. It reminds me of high school. It's like, I better not see you on this part of the campus. Don't walk down this hall or I'll steal your lunch money. Man, what a buffoon. All right. Time to don the fez. Oh shit, I didn't even really light myself. This is the difference between Fez Night, all right? I actually try to light things up. Here we go. You get a chance to look behind the curtain, huh? All right. Is that better now, huh? Is that better? All right, time to don the fez. Greetings, fellow citizens. This is Citizen Kong, and welcome to another Fez Night. Tonight's Fez Night shall be called... Let me look at this. I wrote this down. Oh my gosh. Tonight's Fez Night shall be called ElBrookman, Gotta Get a Fez. Yes, tonight's Fez Night will deal with all things ElBrookman. ElBrookman always acts... he feigns. Are you feigning or are you really upset when I make a Fez Night and I don't mention ElBrookman? He seems to think that it's some sort of running gag. That every Fez Night, it's sort of like Alfred Hitchcock, you know, appearing in his movies, in his own movies that you're supposed to watch, you know, for, oh, there he is, there's Alfred Hitchcock. But instead, you know, you're supposed to wait and see when Citizen Kong mentions ElBrookman's name. Which is, and when I don't mention, I think what's funnier is when I try not to mention his name and it slips out. Thing is, Mr. ElBrookman, if you want to get a mention each week, you should probably actually do something that would warrant me mentioning you. Oh, but in honor of ElBrookman Fez, I'm going to read off a list. A list of the great things about being a Republican. I couldn't think of any. Now, speaking of politics, I get this from some people. It's like, you can't pigeonhole me. You know, the paradigm of the right and left is a false paradigm. Yeah, this is from people that never went to school and studied political science or anything. Or they listened to Alex Jones. Okay, so I was happened to click on an Alex Jones clip because it intrigued me. Because I've heard this, no, this right-left paradigm, you know, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as north and south or east or west. It's just all made up. True. Longitude and latitude are all just made up. But it's a way that it's something we created to navigate and express and understand. And so I argue that it's the same thing as ideas, you know, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, it's subjective, but still we have to establish a base before we can talk about it. So I happened to watch this Alex Jones clip because it was talking about, you know, the false idea of there being a right and a left. And a long time ago, I don't know if any of you remember this, but I said the reason why I started vlogging, and I used my username Citizen Kong way before I came to YouTube. It was based on the idea I wanted to make a t-shirt that I thought would look really cool, where I would combine a picture of Citizen Kane with King Kong's face, and I thought it would make a cool t-shirt and call it Citizen Kong. That's how it all started. And this is before I even bought a computer. I had this idea for Citizen Kong. You can believe me if you can say I'm lying if you want. I don't know why I would lie about something like that. I knew a guy that had a silk screening business, and I would go visit him, and I would try to think of ideas. You know, of course, it never came to fruition. I didn't have any. I don't even know if there was Photoshop in those days. I think I was going to try to do it by just cutting and pasting, you know, and then rephotographing it. I think that was the plan. But I could never find a decent picture of Citizen Kane. I needed a nice headshot of Citizen Kane. Anyway, all right. So, where was I? Oh, the woman that should not be mentioned. Okay, so we started hanging out together, and you know that time it was the Bush administration was wrecking the country. I think. Oh no, he was about to be. Was he about to be reelected? I can't remember when he started dating. No, he was about to be elected, and I think Al Gore was running. Oh yeah, and I remember the election going. Al Gore getting cheated. Ha! by Bush's own brother in Florida, you know, happened to be governor. Oh man. So that was a time when I was really upset. I had a lot to talk about. And the woman that should not be mentioned, she or should not be named, would get tired of listening to me. Of course, then again, she'd like to be put to sleep. She'd be like, I can't sleep. Can you talk about George Bush? Sure enough, I'd go off on that for about, you know, quietly, of course, for about 5 minutes, and she'd be asleep. So anyway, it was her idea that I start. She said, you need to start a blog, and you know, to get some of these opinions off your chest. And I'm too lazy to type, and you know, put my. I mean, I could put my thoughts, you know, into writing a paper, but that's work for me. That's something they make you do in school, you know. And then I kind of thought, eventually I thought, well, YouTube. I've got a video camera, and I started posting my vlogs, which was easier than sitting down and typing something out. It was just speaking off the cuff, which is the same way when we were driving around in my MG, and you know, top down, nice day, and I'm blah 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 blah, blah driving her crazy. I miss my MG. I miss it so much. I had a '79 MGB. It was a pageant blue. This one of my favorite colors of blue. In fact, it's almost the same color. Of course, this isn't black and white, but it's the same color as the blue Rizla papers. So anyway, not that you care. All right, so I started vlogging, and where am I going with this? Oh, now I remember. Okay, so one of my first vlogs, I talked about the theory of the left and right, or whatever. When you go, and you take the very, very, very beginning of it, it almost appears in social science, or one of those classes where they just touch on politics, and you're getting this overall view. It's high school, and it's explained to you that the left and right political spectrum is not a straight line, it's a circle, okay? And you've got right and left, whatever. This is my right hand, this is my left hand. You've got right and left, and the further you go left, the further you go right, it's a circle. And you end up, if you go to extremes, a leftist can become a fascist, and so can a person on the right. So it's deemed a circle, okay? And the woman that should not be named watched the video, And she said, oh, come on. You have to go through and explain that? And I said, yeah, some people don't know that. Oh, come on, everybody knows that. I go, no, you don't know YouTube. You don't know the internet. So which leads me back to Alex Jones. Okay, so there's this clip about Alex Jones explaining the falseness of the right-left paradigm. And in this, he says, I'm going to draw you a picture. And what does Alex Jones do? He draws a straight line. Okay? He draws a straight line. And then he starts saying, well, I don't fit on this straight line. I fit over here. I fit over there. Yes, exactly. If you knew what the hell you were talking about. So that's why these people, anybody that really listens to Alex Jones and believes what he has to say, beware of these people. Just beware of them. I might listen to him for entertainment. I like listening to Coast, where they talk about ghosts and UFOs and all that, because I find it entertaining. And every now and then they'll have Alex Jones as a guest, which is really strange, where one of the hosts will believe that oil constantly renews itself, but he doesn't explain why oil wells run dry. And then he doesn't believe in global warming or man-made climate change. So to me, what's more believable? You know, man-made climate change? I mean, really, you know, it's within the realm of possibility. Whereas being within the realm of possibility that oil renews itself constantly, it's ongoing, it's like happening right now, you know, and it doesn't take millions and millions of years. You know, this happens much faster. This person believes that. That's completely crazy, I think. So anyway, and that's why there's should be no worries about running out of oil, because it's just renewing itself. You know, burn all the gas you want, put as much pollution in the atmosphere as you want, because it'll all sort itself out by itself. Yeah. All right. That's the same. That's like here. I'm doing an experiment in my place. I'm just letting the free market and nature take care of itself. I'm not doing any dusting or cleaning, and you know, and I'm just letting the market readjust itself. I'm letting you know, because you know, 100 years ago there was dirt and dust, so it doesn't matter anything I do. It's not going to affect it. You know, there's no such thing as man-induced clutter. All right, because there's been clutter in the past, and there'll be clutter in the future. Anyway, so this Alex Jones thing. So I encourage you. I'm going to post a link for some of these people that do not want to be pigeonholed, who do not believe in a left and right paradigm. And actually, I only talk about left and right to keep things simple, because actually it's more. There's not only is there a right and a left, but there's an up and a down, and we would call those labels authoritarian and liberal. Actually libertarian. So you have the authoritarian and the libertarian. Okay, and then you've got right and left. And so there's a quiz on, it's called the Political Spectrum Quiz. And many of you have already probably heard of this before. But I'm going to post a link in the description. And I encourage you, especially those that believe that they don't have a political label. Just take the quiz out of curiosity. You know, just do it to humor me. See where you end up. And then people that already call themselves conservatives, take it. You'd be surprised. You're probably much less conservative than you believe you are, because the label liberal has gotten such a bad rap. You know, I mean, reputation. It's liberal has turned into a bad word. People hear the word liberal and they're like, oh, you know, they think the worst, but they don't understand what liberal means, to be a liberal. And in fact, they might be surprised that there are many things that the liberal believes that they believe too. They just didn't know that. So, and for me, I took the quiz. I took the quiz this morning, and it's changed slightly than the last time I took the quiz. I took the quiz like a year ago. And so it shows a square, okay? Like a four-square thing. Here's my terrible drawing. Can you see it? This is what my handwriting looks like. It's like childlike scrawls and scribbles. Okay, so you've got your there. This is confusing because it's in reverse. Okay, you've got your right and your left, and then your authoritarian, and then your libertarian. Okay? Now where am I? I'm this dot over here. And so that means I'm on the left, but I'm also a little more libertarian than I am authoritarian. And I think it's important to understand when you hear an idea about stamping out abortion or making anything illegal, where does that fall into? I mean, just guess. If you are for really, really strict law enforcement and you want everything to be regulated, I mean, personal lives regulated, then you are authoritarian. It's like the brown shirts. It's like the Nazi youth turning in their parents. That there's no room for personal ideas or personal lives. We can't have that. Whereas the extreme libertarian doesn't want anybody telling them what to do or how to live. And so if they want to change their, when they change their oil to just drain the oil in their backyard, that's their right to do. Or their front yard, or in the gutter. Nobody should be able to tell them what to do. That's one extreme, So I think it's important. I don't know, or it's interesting. Something to think about. That got me thinking, because every time there's somebody, oh, don't pigeonhole me. Hey, I was reading that that the Obama administration feels that they're working in Pakistan, and killing Osama bin Laden. I know some, oh, he's been dead for years. Or there's the other one, he's still alive. Well, let's just assume, okay? Let's just assume that there's some truth to it. Anyway, that there's some truth to there being some success in Pakistan because the government's really upset with us. And they arrested some people that helped us on that raid. That they can start scaling back the war. They can start bringing home troops in Afghanistan. And I think that's good news. Of course, the military is saying, no, not so fast, not so fast. So I don't know. The thing with gay rights, the gays were really upset that things didn't happen fast enough, but it is happening under Obama. The military thing, it's actually being addressed. It's moving in the right direction. And then the war. I mean, everybody is like trying to paint Obama as some sort of warmonger. But hell, he didn't start these wars. People forget that soon. You just can't go in and anyway. Now see, I'm sounding more like a Republican. You just can't pull those people out just like that. I think to be practical, you have to say that, okay? Let's come on. I might be liberal, but, I'm not out there. Well, some of you might think that I'm out there in La La Land, but I'm not entirely out in La La Land. All right, so one thing I wanted to cover, too, let's put my readers on, is the David Duke thing again, okay? I just had to spend some time and look up some David Duke quotes. For those of you that are thinking, oh no, he's not such a bad guy, or, So these are David Duke quotes. These Jews who run things, who are producing this mental illness, teenage suicide, all these Jewish sicknesses, that's nothing new. The Talmud's full of things like sex with boys and girls. Well, David Duke, who you call yourself a Christian, I think the same could be said of the Old Testament, which Christians believe in. The truth is, there are 200 white women raped in America by a black man for every one black woman raped by whites. I wonder how he did that research. I'm laughing, but it's not funny, is it? There's tons of these quotes. I don't have time to read them all for you. And the first quotes were found on one of those, famous quotes websites. And then I went to the website for the Anti-Defamation League and found this. Because I think the websites for famous quotes, where they put, William Shakespeare and all that. And I guess David Duke should be, flattered that he's included on a website that would have the likes of, Oscar Wilde and Hemingway and William Shakespeare and great statesmen, like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson or Abraham Lincoln, who did not have a contingency plan. Why? Because some Southern guy shot him before he could come up with one. Okay, so I went to the Anti-Defamation League, and this one's a little boring. Yeah, that other website, I don't think they're going to print the more extreme stuff. This is, albeit it's an old quote, but he's never recanted. He's never said, well, you know what? I need to apologize for what I said. I was wrong. And this is the quote. White people don't need a law against rape. But if you fill this room up with your normal black bucks, you would, because niggers are basically primitive animals. The second quote, it's really the Jew Marxists who see the nigger as their instrument, as their bullets by which to destroy our society. Pretty strong stuff, don't you think? And these are things that he said, and he just pretty much just changed his language to, he calls it instead of white power, he calls it racial reality. Is one of his newspeak, Orwellian type ways. Instead of calling it racist, saying that the white European is superior to, other races. He just says, let's just be realistic about racial reality. Is this going to be the third week in a row I've talked about David Duke? I don't know. All right, everybody. Was there anything else I wanted to say? No, not really. Oh, ElBrookman! ElBrookman! Hey, ElBrookman. Because of the title of this Fez Night, I don't think I need to mention you ever again. Yeah, just kidding. I love you, man. All right. I guess that's it. Time for me to go outside. I have some shopping to do and some errands to run. All right, everybody have a great week. This is Citizen Kong. Thank you for watching. ElBrookman, gotta get a Fez. All right, cheers.